Hey guys, what's up? This is Yogen from Fast Coding School. Welcome to day 3 program. I hope everybody can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me. Yeah, I can see the responses through yes, no, raising hand, through chat window as well. Okay, good. Thank you for that. So guys, whenever you are asked for a feedback, and if that involves only yes and no, you can directly press a yes or no button on the Zoom screen, you know and that gives us a count as well, right? So we get to know that how many people are responding, how many are not. So that way, the management becomes easy for us. And sometimes we don't keep the count how many people raise the hand, or how many people have uh, 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 you know have raised hand, and how many people have responded through chat window. So that's there, guys. Now, as all of you know, this is the day 3 of our week-long program. That is a 6 days long program. In the last 2 days, guys, we have covered Python basics on the day 1, and I want to know your understanding, your learning, that what we did yesterday in the session. So can you please, guys, quickly give me give me your self reflection, that what was your understanding from yesterday's session. And now people are saying that matplotlib, data analytics basics, pandas, numpy, pie chart, okay, import packages like numpy, matplotlib, okay, read CSV, okay, using 3 tools, good guys, graphs and charts, numerical calculations, okay, iloc method. If you remember, guys, using iloc method, we were able to uh, basically, print the data frame partially, where we were able to select the specific rows, and we were able to select the specific columns as well. And that was there. Data frame, that was there. So that's good, guys. And yes, reshaping was also there. If you remember, guys, we converted our list data to a numpy world, and that numpy data type was basically and the array, and dimensional array. And means some number, right? So in generally we call them as a multi-dimensional array. And I gave you the introduction of pandas as well, and I'm happy that people are able to reflect on those learnings. And it's a good, basically, right? And someone saying that we were able to identify the version of numpy and pandas as well, that what version we are using, right? That's good. So I think now we can start for day 3 program. But let me quickly do one thing, guys. Yesterday I gave you a definition what the data analytics is, right? I gave you that, and we took an example that a student, Ria Sharma, is preparing for the placement season, and she visits the placement officer, and the placement officer shares the data and Excel sheet, and we were able to answer a couple of questions that we had in our mind. That was a perfect example of a data analytics activity. So you perform some analytics, you look into the data, find some information, and based on that insight, based on that information, you perform some action, you take some action, right? That was the data analytics activity. And for that purpose, the 3 libraries that we understood was pandas was there, numpy was there, and matplotlib was there. I told you that matplotlib is being used for visualization purpose. NumPy is used for scientific calculation or mathematical operations, and I told you the reason why. When you have the large data size, you should not handle that kind of data in a list or in a dictionary or a tuple. You should move that kind of a data to the NumPy, because now, because of the vectorization, right? I gave you the example of vectorization as well, right? I gave you an example of vectorization. Let's say you have an ND array like this, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you do X into X, right, you don't need to go for a looping mechanism, right? It basically does element-wise multiplication. So what it does, you have another, kind of a copy. Then 1 is getting multiplied with 1, 2 getting multiplied with 2, 3 with 3, 4 with 4. And that's why the answer was like, 1, 4, 9, and 16. Or maybe you can do that x to the power 2 as well, right? X to the power 2. And in that case also, you will get the same output, 1, 4, 9, and 16, because every value would be squared within the x, right? And that's why you will get the data. So that was a vectorization, and vectorization basically makes the speed faster, right? And uh, uh, and basically when you print a when you print a ND array, right? So let's see one thing, guys, that would be interesting to know actually. So let's say we have a list, right? So we have a list where we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is our list. Let me increase the font a little bit so that it's visible to you. And here as well, I will increment the font, right? And now we are converting this list to an ND array. So how we can convert that, guys? Using a method that I told you yesterday, np dot array was the method, if you remember. And in this method, I need to pass on what? My list, that is A. And let's say I get the output in X. So that was there. And now, guys, NP is not defined. So what should I do in that case? If NP is not defined, I should import the library, import numpy as NP, right? We missed that statement. So I'm able to do it now, and it should work for me. And now, guys, if I print A, can you see this on the console? Please look at the console. Can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And now I print the X. Or in other way, I would, okay, let's do this, print A and then print X. That will make things more clear. Can you see, guys? When I'm printing A, you can see the comma in between, every item. But when you're printing an ND array, you don't see the commas, right? So that way you can clearly understand that this is going to be a list and this is going to be an ND array, right? And this is list where you see the commas while printing the A, and this is, ND array while you're printing X, you don't see the commas anymore. So, that gives a reflection that this is ND array and this is basically a list. Now, along with that part, guys, while we were dealing with NumPy, right, while we were dealing with NumPy or pandas, we understood three primary terms when you are dealing with ND arrays. Those terms were that what is the shape of your data, right? What is the number of dimensions, right? And what is the D type, right? So D type means what is the data type of individual items in the ND array. So this is integer, right? So D type means integer. If these are the float values, then we will have a float. Let's say you have some ND array like this 1.2, 3.4. In that case, that would be a float value, right? And based on the kind of condition, this integer can be int 32, can be int 64, can be int 8, based on that, it may be there. So what is the meaning of int 32 or int 64 here, guys? That means if it is a int 64, it is taking 64 bits to store the data, right? And if it is int 32, that means it is taking 32 bits to store your data. So this one is getting stored in 64 bits if the data type is int 64. This one is getting stored into 32 bits if the data type is int 32, right? And mind it guys, ND arrays are homogeneous actually, right? So, and ND arrays are homogeneous means they will carry the same type of items, same data types would be there. So I told you shape, andim, and D type. But when you were into pandas, right, and we were able to read the data using read CSV, if you remember, guys, we used a method, and where we were reading the data from salaries.csv. So in that case, if you want to know that what is the data type contained in every specific column, right? Then we were calling this D types, right? And that was telling me that your rank column is object type, your a service column is float type, and all of those things were there. And 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 similarly, guys, in integer we can have one more type which is called as unsigned integer 8. That means you are taking 8 bits and you can only store the unsigned value. Unsigned means it cannot be a negative actually, right? But here you can have the negative values as well. So here you are only storing the magnitude, only storing the value part. So it cannot be a negative value. If it is an unsigned int, it cannot be a negative value, but in int 32, it can be a signed storage. You can store a negative value as well, or you can store a positive value as well. I think these concepts should be clear from your C programming. But unfortunately, what happens in the college or university, right? The C programming is taught in a way that kills your interest in the coding actually, right? Forget about learning the C programming. So in most of the cases, in 95% cases, that will kill your interest out of coding, right? And even the entire semester goes off, it will go up to file handling at maximum, right? And when things start around pointers and all that, your semester is over, and you never know what to do with that C program, because up to file handling, it's just a toy programming. Things start getting basically interesting in C programming when you start dealing with the pointers. Anyway, that's a very different story. We'll talk some other day around that. Now, guys, coming to our part for today. Now, so guys, because we are starting machine learning today, right? We are starting machine learning today. So because we do not have the background yet into machine learning, so I have to start a kind of a discussion first with you, right? I will have a discussion first. I will explain, a couple of terms and, terminologies and the concepts. And once we understand those concepts well, we will start using a spider and do some, practice or do some practical by taking some, a real problem. So I have some problem, and we'll use that problem and we'll, write the code. But first, we need to understand this world, what the machine learning is, right? Maybe you can use, machine learning. Then you have one more term called AI, or you can have one more term, deep learning. I have defined the data analytics yesterday, guys, right? I defined what the data analytics in the yesterday's session. But today we'll keep a focus on these three terms, right? So let's start now, guys. What is that? So first of all, to start with, guys, I'm just saying AI. AI means artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence, AI. And almost everybody, now from the technical domain at least, or from the engineering or BCA or MCA background, people have heard about this term, AI, artificial intelligence. Now, how to define AI, right? How to define AI? So, guys, let me read it loud. Any machine, right? And when I say machine, it can be a software system, it can be a hardware, it can be a combination of both. So, any machine which behaves like human is a AI machine, right? So, any machine which behaves which behaves like human, right? Like us, is AI machine, right? Is AI machine. But as a human, right, we do hundreds of activities, since morning, and then, going through a complete day, right? But that machine would be doing some specific activity only, one or two, right? One or two activities only, which resemble with the human behavior, right? That machine cannot, means that it can behave completely like a human in every aspect. No. As a human, we take hundreds of activities based on the time, based on the context, based on the knowledge, based on the information, and a lot of things, right? But that machine will mimic only one or two activities, right? So that machine is called AI machine, which behaves like human, right? And as an example, you can say there is an AI robot called Sophia, if you remember, guys, right? She has been given a citizenship in Saudi Arabia. She has visited India a couple of times in various technical fest and all. So that is one. Driverless cars by Google or Tesla, right? They are under testing. So that is kind of a AI machine as well. Alexa or Google Home, right? They are also AI machines. So all of these examples, I'm just telling you, they all are a part of this AI world. They are part of this AI world. So various examples have been taken. Now question comes, guys. Now question comes that how to achieve AI, right? How I can, so IoT is a different term, guys. I'll explain the IoT later on. I will not include that in today's sense, Internet of Things. I will do it maybe tomorrow. Don't worry. Just remind me, right? So now, uh, uh, even some of the restaurants recently, we got a news that one restaurant in Jaipur or one of the restaurant in Chennai, right? They are using robot to serve the food as a waiter, right? So probably our use of AI in India that can be right. So now, guys, uh, how to achieve AI? How I can enable my machine as a AI machine? And for that purpose, guys, for that purpose, the method that we use to enable a machine as an AI machine or develop a AI machine, we use a method. That method is known as machine learning, guys, right? That method is known as machine learning. So what is the machine learning? A way, right? Machine learning is a way through which you can develop a AI machine. And sometimes what happens, guys, AI and machine learning is interchangeably used in the literature. But AI is this, right? Any machine which behaves like human. And to develop a AI machine, we are using a way, a approach, a method, and that is known as machine learning. I have not defined machine learning yet, but just telling you that through machine learning you can achieve AI, right? And now, guys, what happens? Just listen to me. Now, because machine learning obviously, will do some computation on the information, will do some computation on the data, and make your machine as a AI-enabled machine, right? So while there are various ways of processing the information. There are different architectures to process the data, right? Similarly, right, when you are in machine learning and to process the data, if you are using neural networks. So what is neural network? Don't worry, it's not a rocket science. Neural network is a data processing architecture. In computer science, there is a specific way of processing the data, right? So when people use neural network in machine learning, right, when people use neural network to process the data in machine learning, we give a specific name to that activity, and that name is known as deep learning, right? So generally, you can now safely assume basically machine learning का ही सब part है deep learning. So deep learning is the subset of machine learning. And what is the specific about deep learning? We are using neural networks to process the data. And I will explain what the neural networks are on the last day of this program when we talk about deep learning in more details. Now, guys, this is basically, so now sometimes what happens, people keep this information like this, that to achieve AI, either you can use machine learning or either you can use deep learning. But you should understand that deep learning is a subset of ML only, right? And generally deep learning is applied when you have basically a project which is related to, let's say, image recognition, image identification, face recognition, face detection, blah blah blah, right? Or you have some a problem which involves video data, or you have some problem which involves, let's say, text data, right? And because these data are in large volume, right, these data generally come in the large volume, and to handle that kind of a processing, we go with neural networks, right? And that's why we use deep learning whenever you are in this kind of a project scenario, right? So I have a linked 3 terms to you guys, right? I have linked 3 terms to you, and you should be very clear about it now. And let me show you image as well. Now you can see this, guys. This is our AI, right? AI is what? A program that can sense, reason, act, and adapt. So it's a kind of a human behavior. And now, right, to achieve AI, we are going for machine learning. And what the machine learning is, I will define it later on, right? You don't need to read it, what is written there. And the specific part of the machine learning where we are using, a neural networks. You can see this, right? Where we are using neural networks, then it becomes deep learning, right? And now, along with this information, right? So guys, are you now clear what the AI is, what the machine learning is, and what the deep learning is? Please give me a feedback. So now a lot of people responding back. Thank you for that. सभी को respond करना है. मैं आपसे बार-बार request करता हूँ कि please do respond. So एक क्लिक करने से बहुत ज़्यादा एनर्जी खर्च नहीं होती है, राइट? बहुत ही कम एनर्जी खर्च होती है, बट दैट क्लिक कैन डू अ वंडर फॉर द पीपल, राइट? या सो that is there. Now guys, along with this, right, along with this, let me show you an image as well, one more image, and that can be interesting to you. See this image, guys, right? There are 4 people in this image. There are 4 people, right? If I go from the left, right, this guy, where I'm hovering my mouse, right, this guy is Geoffrey Hinton, and this guy is treated as a father of machine learning. This guy is treated as father of machine learning. And initially, he started his research work in the AI domain in the United States, but later on, he moved to Canada. And right now, he's a professor in the Toronto University there. But for last 15 years, he has been head of the Google AI team as well. So guys, the Google AI, right? So Google has a a separate team which works on the AI projects, and mostly in the Google now, most of the projects are AI projects nowadays. So this guy is heading the AI team there. So a professor as well, and a very strong footprint in the industry as well. Geoffrey Hinton had a student with the name Jan Lukn. He was a PhD student under him, and this Jan Lukn basically, had a very good, understanding in the publications, or building a deep learning concepts, right? So he was the master of neural networks and the deep learning, and he's also professor obviously right now, but he is he's the head of Facebook AI team right now. So Jan Lukn is in the Facebook, Geoffrey Hinton is in the Google. Sometimes that team is called Google Brain or Google X or Google AI team. A couple of names are there into that. This guy who's on the rightmost side, this guy is much popular than these three people. This guy is Professor Andrew Ng, and he was recently in India to meet our Prime Minister Modi as well, right? So Modi wanted to have a discussion that how the AI can be used in India context, right? So, and if you remember, guys, Andrew Ng has a popular course on Coursera. Coursera is a site where you have a lot of recorded recorded video courses are there, right? So this guy is quite popular, Andrew Ng, that's there. This guy is Yoshua Bengio. He writes lots of books, and currently professor in the Montreal University. Again, a very very a big name. So all of these are the big names. These are kind of mafia of AI, right? If you can call them. It will not be a very good term to use, but yes, these guys are behind the AI initiatives in the world, and that's there. So kind of a update for you. So now, after defining these terms, now let me give a formal definition of what the machine learning is, guys. What the machine learning is. Let me give you that definition. So we are on machine learning definition now. ML definition. See this, guys. Because most of you have a understanding about high school mathematics, right? So in mathematics, you are well familiar with a term which is known as y is equal to fx, if you remember, guys, right? This y is equal to fx, right? And now you should know these terms, guys, right? That in mathematics, I'm talking about maths, guys, right? I'm talking about maths. And just, listen to me what I say. This x, if you remember, guys, is known as independent variable, right? This is known as independent variable. And this y is known as dependent variable, right? Some literature call this dependent variable as target as well, and some call it as response as well. Some call it as response, but most of the time it is dependent variable, and this one is called as independent variable. And what the f is called, guys? F is called as mapping function. We call f as the mapping function. See this, guys, right? So these are the three terms, and this is the equation which is giving a relationship that how x and y are related to each other, right? So y is the function of x that you can say here, right? So f is the mapping function here. And generally what happens in case of mathematics, guys, what happens in case of mathematics, that whenever you are solving a mathematical problem, what is given to you? X is given to you, and the mapping function is also given to you. And because now you have X and F, right, you can easily calculate the value of Y, right? Easily calculate the value of Y. That is the normal process in mathematical scenario, right? Now from the mathematical world, now we are moving to the machine learning world, guys, now, right? Yesterday we moved from a list data to a ND array using NumPy. Now we are entering to the machine learning world. And what happens there, guys? Listen to that. What happens, guys, that there, X and Y is given to you. What I'm telling you, guys, that out of this Y is equal to fx relationship, what is given to you? X and Y is given to you. X is what? Independent variable. Y is what? Dependent variable, right? And now once X and Y are given to you, what you can do, guys, because X and Y are given to you, now you can find out mapping function F. Yeah, because if I have X and Y, I can calculate the third parameter easily. So I can, find out what the mapping function is. And now, guys, once mapping function is known to us, once we know the mapping function, what happens in the next step? We use this mapping function to calculate the value of Y for a new value of X, guys, right? What I'm doing, that you can calculate the value of Y for a new value of X once the mapping function is known to you, right? And how it is happening, guys? X and Y is with you. Okay, once X and Y is with me, I can find out the mapping function. Once the mapping function is known to me, I can use that mapping function to calculate the value of a Y for a new value of X, right? And now, guys, this activity, right? This activity where you have this X and Y, where you are finding the mapping function, where you are finding the value of Y for a new X, this activity is called as machine learning. And now, guys, right, let me tell you, some other details as well. In machine learning world, this X and Y is called as data set, guys. What do you call it? You call it as a data set. You have independent variable values, you have, a dependent variable values, right? And using that data set, what you are doing, using that data set, you are trying to find out the mapping function. Guys, this mapping function, this relationship that how X and Y are related to each other, this mapping function is known as model in machine learning, right? And what it does, this model or this mapping function is basically created using what? Using this data set. So using X and Y, using the data set, what we are trying to find out? We are trying to find out the mapping function. Finding out the mapping function, right, is known as, finding out the mapping function is known as training of the model, right? Is known as training of the model, right? So you have a data set. Using that data set, we are finding out the mapping function. Act of finding out the mapping function is known as training of the model. Once the training of the model is done, what you can do? You can use that model to calculate the value of a Y for a new value of X. Calculating the Y for a new X using this mapping function is known as prediction in machine learning, guys. Known as prediction in machine learning. So now couple of, terms I have given to you. Okay, one more thing. Now, because we have talked about this data set, that X is independent variable, Y is dependent variable, combination of both would be called as a data set. Now in machine learning world, guys, this independent variable, this X is called as feature. What we call it, guys? Feature. And this dependent variable, which is Y, obviously, right, is called as, a label or target. This is called as label or target. So now, a couple of things have come to you. So let me again, quickly recap everything. So, things get registered very clearly in your mindset. What we had, y is equal to fx. That was the mathematical world. Now we are into AML world now. What we have, guys, in AML world, we have x and y with us. This x and y is called as data set. Now we start calling x as feature. Obviously, this was independent variable. This was dependent variable, right? Now this is called as feature and this is called as label, guys. Using this data set, what we do, guys, we find out mapping function f. Finding out the mapping function f is known as training. This is called as training, right? And once this mapping function is, with us, we are able to find out the mapping function while, a training activity. We use this mapping function, right, to calculate the y for a new x, right? For a new x, right? And then you obviously calculate the y. This activity is called as prediction in machine learning. This is called as prediction. So this is basically, right, this is kind of a blueprint of any machine learning activity, any machine learning project, guys. You will have a problem statement. That means you will have a data. And out of that data, it is your responsibility that you should identify that what is feature and what is label. Once features and labels are known to you, right, you can find out the mapping function, right? And once the mapping function is known to you, you can have a prediction on the new data. Now, one more thing, guys, one more thing coming up to you. Guys, do you remember from your engineering days or BCA or MCA days, right? In the data structure, you are, taught a topic that is called as sorting. Do you remember, guys, that sorting is there, right? And what is the sorting? You are given a data, right? You are given a data, and you need to sort that data, right? You need to sort that data, and that data can be sorted in incremental fashion or decremental fashion or alphabetically or magnitude based, and all things can happen around that. So arranging the data in some order, right, ascending or descending, whatever. That was the sorting. And guys, while the sorting was taught to you, do you remember that couple of methods were told to you, right, were taught to you, that using these methods you can sort your data easily, and those methods are called algorithms. Remember, those methods are called algorithms. And these algorithms were, you had a bubble sort, that was one algo. You had insertion sort, that was one algo. You have quick sort, that was also one. You have merge, a couple of things were there. So these algorithms were able to do a sorting of our data. You have the data, apply the algo, right? Apply the algo and you get the sorted data. And based on the condition, based on your understanding, you can use any of the algorithm, right? So use any algo, output would be a sorted data. Similarly, guys, with the same concept, with the same philosophy, what is happening, guys? We use lot of algorithms here as well that find out the mapping function for us, guys. What I'm saying, guys, we do use algorithms, methods, right? And these algorithms does what? These algorithms find out the mapping function for us once we give them the data, right? Once we give them the data, and the algorithm will use the data same way, right? The algorithm will use this data to sort out. Similarly, these algorithms are called as machine learning algorithms. So these machine learning algorithms will understand the data, and finally they will give you what? They will give you a mapping function. And using that mapping function, guys, what happens? You can start performing a prediction on the new value of X. Is that clear, guys, so far? Is it going good with you? Is it going good with you, guys? Okay, I can see a lot of people are responding. Okay, good. Good, guys. Yeah. So you have to be little alert today, guys, because we are throwing a lot of new terms. It may be, for some of you guys, things may be already, uh, known to you, but I'm trying to make a background from the, a basics. So everybody is on the same page after today's session, right? At the end of the session, everybody is on the same page. और जिन लोगों को पहले से पता है, the people who already know machine learning, they will also understand a lot of things, right? They will also understand a lot of things as the new now. Now, after moving this part, guys, after moving this part, now a couple of more terms for you, couple of more terms for you. And what is that? Let's understand that part as well. In a very high level kind of understanding, machine learning is basically divided into two subparts, guys. Machine learning is divided into two subparts. What is the one subpart? The first subpart is known as supervised machine learning. Supervised machine learning. And the other part is known as unsupervised machine learning. That is there, right? Supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. Guys, when you are solving a supervised machine learning problem, right, your data set, right, your data, so data is very important in machine learning, right? Without data, you don't have any, a way to, solve a machine learning problem. So in the data set, what you will have, guys, you will have feature and you will have a label that we were discussing recently, right? So that means you have X, you have Y, or you have independent variable, or you have dependent variable. So that would be the case. And because now you have the feature and label both, you can find out the mapping function easily, and you can perform the prediction, right? So we'll talk about prediction in more details once I explain the some terms here. And now, guys, this supervised machine learning is again subdivided into two parts. Supervised ML, I'm talking about. The one part is known as regression, and the other part is known as classification, guys. Right? What happens in regression and classification? Listen to it. Right? In regression, guys, if it is a regression problem under supervised machine learning, obviously, you predict a value. You predict some number here, right? For example, you want to predict the salary of a person. You want to predict the height of a person. You want to predict the distance that has to be traveled, right? You want to predict the movie collection on the box office, right? You want to predict your GATE score. You want to predict your JE score. You want to predict your, for example, a vote count, that by how many votes you will win the election or lose the election, right? All of these activities that I told you, they all come under the act of regression. This is called as regression, guys, right? So you remember all of these examples. You are predicting some number, right? You're predicting the box office collection. That means you're predicting that, how many crores or lakhs will, the movie on. You are predicting a salary. Again, that's a number. You are predicting the election, a win or loss. Again, that's a count, so Netaji, won the election with, 2 lakh votes. So that's a number again, right? Height, again, a number. Weight, again, a number. BMI, again, a number, right? A distance, again a number. So all of these examples, you are predicting a number, right? And that is a regression problem. In the classification,
Guys, I think so. There was some technical problem. Uh, just wait for 2 minutes.
Hey guys, I'm back. There was some issue with the internet connection. So let me set up the things again and we'll resume from that. So just hold on. Can you hear me, Dr. Sylvester?
Yeah, I can.
So here I am. Okay. Just let me set up the things. So so guys, is the screen visible to you now? Just say yes and no. Is screen visible to you? Yeah, fine, good. Okay, thank you. So guys, what I was talking about, I was telling you that machine learning is divided into two subparts. One is the supervised ML, another is the unsupervised ML. In supervised ML, guys, what you have in the data set, you have both. You have feature as well, you have label as well, so that you can find out the mapping function. That means you can perform prediction, right? And again, the supervised ML is divided into two subparts. One is called as regression, where you predict some value, where you predict some number like salary or a height or box office collection or some exam score or something like that, right? In the classification, guys, you predict a category or a class, right? You don't predict exact number that movie is going to earn that much money on the day one, but you are just saying, will it be a hit or flop, right? You're not talking about that what would be your salary package, right? But you are just talking about will you get a placement or not. So if you're just saying will you get a placement or not, it's a classification problem, right? And if you are predicting that what would be the monthly package, then it's a regression problem, right? So that way you have two subcategories in a supervised machine learning, guys, right? In supervised machine learning. Let me give you a one example to summarize it, right? If I say in Hindi, नेताजी चुनाव जीतेंगे या हारेंगे क्लासिफिकेशन प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन कितने वोटों से जीतेंगे या हारेंगे रिग्रेशन प्रॉब्लम है. And if I translate it, poorly translating in English, that during the election, during the election, guys, will the candidate win or lose the election is a classification problem. With how many votes he will win or lose, it's a regression problem, right? Yeah, Raj, you are right. So that's there. Is it clear now, Guru Prasad? Is it clear, guys? Regression and classification, right? Yeah, thank you. Now, what I told you guys, I told you that to find out the mapping function, you have machine learning algorithms, right? The similar to you have algos to sort the data, you have algos to find out the mapping function. And now, similarly, right, if I give you a list that we have couple of algorithms through which we can perform regression and classification. So I'm now telling you the algorithm names, guys, ML algos, right? ML algos. So to perform regression, to predict some value, to predict some number, you can use linear regression. It's a algorithm name, guys, linear regression. You can use a decision tree, a name to algo. It's kind of like bubble sort, quick sort, a merge sort, this sort, that sort, blah blah. So I'm just naming ML algos which can perform a regression for you. A random forest, right? Random forest. SVR, support vector regressor, right? Couple of things like that. Similarly, some popular algorithms that can perform a classification for you. The most popular one is known as KNN, K nearest neighbor, right? So we will discuss this KNN. And The other one is known as SVM, support vector machine, right? The third is known as a logistic regression. So a name is regression, but don't get confused. It's a classification algorithm, right? And the other one is naive Bayes, So there are other algorithms as well. This is not the complete exhaustive list, guys. I'm just, giving you some names here. So what we will do, which algorithm we will discuss in this program. So first I will discuss this algorithm, which is known as linear regression, to perform a regression, to predict a value, to predict a number. And some other day, in the coming days, I will discuss, guys, this KNN as well. That will do a classification for us, right? So, and other algorithms are also there, but we are not going to discuss every algorithm, but that will give you a background, right? So that you can understand other algorithms as well, right? SVR stands for support vector regressor, right? Support vector regressor. So, guys, are you clear now on this? This screen, is everything clear to you? That we were talking about ML divided into two parts, supervised, unsupervised. I have not defined yet the unsupervised. So when we discuss unsupervised, I will discuss that part later on, right? Today's focus is on the supervised ML part, right? And supervised ML is again classified into regression and classification. And to perform regression, you have linear regression, you have decision tree, you have random forest, you have SVR, right? And to perform classification, you have KNN, that is called as K nearest neighbor. You have SVM, that is support vector machine. You have logistic regression. You have naive Bayes, right? So that is there, right? So this is there. So Ashok Pandey, label and target, they are same, right? So literature to literature, that is differentiated. We will use feature for independent variable, and we will use label for dependent variable, right? That is there. So guys, I think I have set the background now, right? And now let's talk about in some more details around the prediction, guys, right? So Jay Tucker, I will explain this difference later on when we introduce the unsupervised ML to you. So unsupervised ML, I have a separate day for it, right? I have a separate day. The naive Bayes, fourth one is naive Bayes, right? That is there. Now, guys, let's closely zoom out on the prediction part. What I told you guys, that in the ML, what happens in the ML, guys, you have a data set, right? You figure out what is feature, right? And what is label. Once these two terms are known to you, what you do, guys, you train the model, right? And during the train, what you do, guys, you find out the mapping function. And after that, what you do, guys, you perform the prediction. And that prediction can be a regression, or that can be a classification. That is a kind of a flow, right? And now, guys, Sanjana, I'll do that later on. Please, hold on for that. So अभी थोड़ा सा यहाँ focus करें जो मैं अभी आपको बता रहा हूँ. The things I'm telling you, just focus on that, right? I will explain each and every time, no problem into that. But what happens? Obviously, you have lots of questions. You can ask them after the session, or we can have enough time that during the week, we'll have enough time to discuss each and every. So every day you can see that I'm trying to take new terms every day and day. So by end of the course finishing, you will have everything clear in what the data science is, what the ML is, what the data analytics is. So things will come on their own way. So guys, I told you that you have a data set, you figure out what is feature, what is label, then you train the model. Train the model means finding out the mapping function, right? And for that you use a lot of algorithms here, right? You use a lot of algorithms here, right? And then you perform the prediction. Now let's take some example around the prediction, guys. Let's take some examples around the prediction. So y is equal to fx, right? So let's take two examples that how f can look like, how the mapping function can look like. Just the basic example. The one way I tell you that mapping function can be like this: y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. It can be a relationship, right? Because what is mapping function? It shows the relationship between x and y, and this time we are writing this kind of a relationship. And guys, do you remember from mathematics that these a, b, and c, what we call them? A and b are called the coefficients, right? Do you remember? They are called coefficients, right? They are called coefficient, or sometimes they are called as slope as well, right? They're called a slope as well. They're called as slope as well, right? So if you have this mapping function, right, where you know the values of a, so let's say a is 2, b is 1, and let's say c is 0. And now I tell you, so now because you know that you have got the mapping function with you, whose value for a and b and c are given, and the relationship is also given. So if I give you a x, that my x is 10, can you figure out what would be the value of y? Yes, it's easy. X is known to me, so a is 2, so 2 into 10k square plus a b is 1, b into, and then 10, and then 0. So this way you calculate the y. That's simple. Another example can be y is equal to mx plus c. If you remember, guys, y is equal to mx plus c. This is also a mapping function. What happens in this case, guys? You know this terminology, right? X is independent variable, Y is dependent variable. For us, X is feature. For us, Y is label. What you call M, guys? M is called slope or coefficient here as well, right? Slope or coefficient. And what the C is called, guys? C is called as constant, or in most of the cases it is called as intercept. This is called as intercept, right? And if m is known to you, let's say m is coming as 1.5 and c is coming as 2, then how you can find out the value of y? Yes, we can easily find out the value of y, and let's say x is 10. In that case, what will happen, guys? 1.5 into x, which is 10 obviously, and what is the value of c? That is this. So 15 plus 2, so y comes out to be 17, right? So this is calculating the y here, calculating the y here. This is prediction. This is called prediction. So it's the kind of a mathematics behind the scene, really, in that sense, right? And now once you understand that these would be the kind of mapping function, obviously when you are using machine learning, so a mapping function can be little complex as well. I gave you some simple examples around that. And now let's talk about a little more around this mapping function, guys, right? Guys, this mapping function, right? This mapping function, y is equal to mx plus c kind of a relationship, this mapping function is known as simple linear regression, guys. What is the name I have given to it, guys? A simple linear regression, right? Why we call x as an independent variable? Because x is working as an input, right? The value that works as an input to the system is treated as independent, and the output that is coming from the system, right, is called as dependent, right? ये चीज दी, ये निकल के आई, ये चीज दी, ये चीज निकल के आई, and that's how you differentiate between independent and a dependent one, right? So guys, are things clear to you now what I was talking about? I was talking about this mapping function y is equal to mx plus c, right? And this mx plus c kind of relationship is called as simple linear regression, right? This is called as simple linear. अब बताइए प्लीज, समझ में आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है? आगे चलूं या नहीं चलूं? सो तो नहीं गए लोग बाग? Sleeping or not? So okay, good. Okay, so Devendra saying, no, sir, we are awake. Good. Now, so let's a little focus, like little more focus on this y is equal to mx plus c part, guys. Mx plus c part, right? So that is there. So now, see, guys. If you see this relationship y is equal to mx plus c is called as simple linear regression, guys. Simple linear regression. Simple linear regression, right? Regression. If you remember this equation, guys, from your mathematics days, right? This is basically, if you visualize it, this is basically a straight line. Do you remember, guys? This is a straight line, right? Let me a little clear around that. This is a straight line. So this angle is m, slope, which is called as, right? And this part where it is, cutting the y-axis, right? This part, this distance is called as c, if you remember, guys. This distance is called c, right? That was the equation. Now question comes that how this line is drawn. How do we draw this line, right? How do we draw this line? This question is there. But first, let me tell you that how we use this line to make a prediction. In the last line, in the last slide, I told you that if m and c are known to you and x is given to you, you can calculate the value of y, right? Because m is given, c is given, x is also given. So using the mapping function, you can find out. We can do the same with the visual effect as well, right? So let's say this is your line, guys. This is your line, right? And this angle is 45 degree. That means m is equal to 1. And this is passing through center. So that means c is equal to 0. Now tell me, guys, I have a coordinate. So let's say I have a coordinate whose, x is 2 and whose y is 3. So y is 3, right? See this, here it is. It is 3, and let's say, guys, here it is 2 and here it is 1, right? And here it is 1 as well, and in a couple of things around that. Now, guys, I have a point which is 2, 3 here, right? So this is the point. And now what I want to do, guys, I want to make a prediction for this value x. Remember, guys, I'm putting a new, something new to you. So for us, what is the value of x, guys? For us, value of x is 2. And here you can see, as of now, 3 is what? This is the actual y. This is the actual y, right? This is the actual y. This is 3. And now if we use this line, guys, right, to make a prediction that what would be the value of a y if I give x is equal to 2, then what will happen, guys? Visually, I can do this thing. Visually, I can go dot, 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 and cut it here. And cut it here, and then I go back to the y-axis, guys. This is the visual prediction, guys. I'm going to this line. As I cross this line, I immediately make a 90-degree shift and hit the y-axis. Where I'm cutting the y-axis, that is my prediction. So y is coming out to be, so predicted y value is equal to 2, right? And the actual y is 3, right? That was initially known to me, but when I used my line to make a prediction, right, visually, y is giving 2, and I can use mathematics as well. So m is 1 here, c is a 0 here, and x is 2 here. So y is equal to mx plus c. So this comes out to be 2 plus 0. So y is coming. So mathematically or visually, both way, I'm getting the value 2. So can you see, guys, actual data, the actual label is 3, but prediction is giving as 2. That means there is a difference, right? And this difference, right? This difference is called as error, guys. You know, this difference is called error in machine learning, right? My prediction may be wrong, right? My prediction may not be accurate, right? I may be wrong, right? And this difference between the actual value of y and the predicted value of y is known as error or known as residual, guys. You know, known as error or known as residual. Guys, is that concept clear? That how I used a straight line to visually predict the value of y, right? To visually predict the value of y, and using the mathematical function as well to predict the value of y. And during the prediction activity, we got to know that actual y was different from the predicted y, right? And this difference, right, this error. So what is the error in this particular case, guys? What is the actual value? 3. The actual value of y is 3. And what is the predicted value, guys? 2. So error is coming out to be 1. So this distance, this difference is called as residual as well. This difference is called as residual as well, right? So I told you, I explained you that we used a straight line, right? Because linear regression is always a straight line. We use this straight line, right? Right? This, you know, we use this straight line to make a prediction for a value of x whose, you know, label was already known to us that actual y is 3. But while calculating through this line, while making a prediction using this line, right? So in this case, actual y was already given to us. And because actual y was already given to us, and that's why I was able to find out whether I am closely predicting or not. Because if actual y is not given to you, I cannot find out the error, guys. I cannot find out the error. आगे चलें थोड़ा सा. Should we move ahead now? Right? Okay. Now coming to the final discussion, guys. Right? Now coming to a very important discussion that how this line is drawn. How this line is drawn is based on the data set we have, guys. Right? How the machine learning algo will draw this line. How the linear regression algorithm will draw this line. Guys, this drawing, finding the mapping function happens through when you know the x and y, right? And that means when you have the data set, you can use that data set to draw this straight line. And always remember, guys, linear regression, simple linear regression is always and always about drawing a straight line. So now I will tell you that how using data we draw this straight line, guys. Because now we know what is ML, now we know what is supervised ML, now we know what is mapping function, now we know what is feature, what is label, what is prediction, now we know what is regression, what is classification, now we know a couple of algorithms as well, right? And I told you that how a mapping function is used to draw a prediction. I explained that part as well. Now I'm coming to the final discussion of today, and then we move on to the coding part as well, right? That now I will tell you guys that how we draw this straight line. And this straight line is drawn once you have the data, because without understanding the data, you can never draw this line. So let me give you 2 examples that how this straight line is drawn, guys. See this. Everybody focus here. Guys, I have a data set. See, I have a data set. And in that data set, it has 2 columns. The one column, it is mentioning that what is the value of x. And in the another column, it is mentioning that what is the corresponding value of y, right? This x is basically called as feature, and this y is called as label. Clear? And now let's say when x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 2. When x is 3, y is 3. When x is 4, y is 4. And now tell me, guys, based on this data, can you give me a prediction that if x is 5, then what would be the value of y? Can you give me a prediction, guys? Yes, people are giving me a prediction that this is 5. Why we got a 5 here, right? Again, the question is very simple. See this, guys, why we got the 5 here. Let me draw the straight line. We are going to draw the straight line using this data, guys. So how to draw the straight line using that data, guys? This is my x-axis, right? So I have x is 1, y is 1. That means I have a point here. Then, guys, what is there? X is 2. Then what is y? 2. So we have one here as well, right? And, guys, 3. So x is 3, y is also 3. So I have drawn a point here. And then, guys, x is 4, y is 4 as well. So, and now, can you see, guys, if I connect all these dots, right, they all like a straight line. Thoda sa, either the drawing mein ho gaya, but that's a straight line, basically, right? So it's a straight line. And now, guys, once this straight line is drawn using what? Using this data, right? Using this data, we have drawn this line. This concept is known as training, guys, right? And now, guys, can you give me that what would be the value of M and C? C is obviously 0 because it is passing through, a center. So it is C0. What is the M, guys? M can be calculated as y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That means I can calculate this angle, right? Let's say this is 3, 3 and this is 2, 2. I can use any points, right? And using this concept, guys, 3 minus 2 divided by 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. So M comes out to be 1, right? So this way I was able to draw, right? I was able to draw the straight line. And now see, guys, see, I want to make a prediction using this line that if x is equal to 2, then what would be the y, guys? What would be the value of predicted y? The value of predicted y would be 2 here, right? And what is our actual y, guys? Actual y is also 2, right? Our actual y is also 2. So predicted y is 2 and actual y is also 2. That means what is the error, guys, in this case? What is the error? In this case, error is 2 minus 2, 0. That means our prediction are perfect, right? That means our prediction is perfect. We are 100% matching the predicted value with the actual value. But guys, is this a really a kind of possible that you always predict the way that it always matches the exact value? It will hardly happen, guys. In reality, it doesn't happen, right? Because in reality, guys, what will happen? You will have a data set where you will not find all the points in a single line, guys. You will not find the data points which are like this. What would be the reality, guys? The reality would be like this. See this, guys. Reality would be like this. You have x here, you have a y here, guys. Guys, listen to me. It's very important. Let's say this is the one data point. This is x, this is y. Then you have another data point here. This is x, this is y. Then you have another data point here. Then you have, let's say, another data point here. In this case, guys, now real question is coming that using these 4 data points, how I can draw a straight line? Is it possible, guys, that I can draw a straight line which passes through, every data point like earlier? No, now it is not possible for me, right? It is not possible for me that I can draw a straight line. Then what happens, guys? Then I need to compromise something, right? That, okay, I will leave the dream that I will, pass through every data point. Then I make a compromise, and compromise can be like this. Okay, this is my straight line, right? Or maybe this is my straight line, or maybe this is my straight line. I need to figure out that which line will work best for me, right? I need to figure out that which line will work best for me, guys, right? And the line that I will select for my use case, the line that I will use to make the predictions for the future X, that line would be called as best fit line, guys. That line would be called as best fit line. Now tell me, guys, how to, make a choice that whether this line is best fit line, I mark it as 1, or this line is best fit line, or this line is best fit line. There can be infinite number of possibilities, obviously, but I'm talking about 3 only. That which line is the best fit line in that case, right? And now guys, I need to look at this a problem, that which line I should use, right? That can be marked as best fit line, guys. It has to be solved through a kind of a little, involvement of mathematics, guys, if you remember, right? How? Let me explain that part with you, that, what I'm telling you. See this, guys. Here, let's see, these are the 4 points again. See this, these are the same 4 points which I drawn here, and I'm considering, guys, that this is my best fit line. This is my best fit line. Okay, and this line can be best fit line only when, right, let's say this distance, and I told you this distance is basically the error, because this is the actual y and this is the predicted y. Let's say this distance is d2, and for this point, guys, let's say this distance is d3. For this point, let's say this distance is d4, guys, right? And in my case, guys, this line can be best fit line only and only if, right, if d1 square plus d2 square plus d3 square plus d4 square divided by 4 is minimum, right? I will calculate this expression for this line as well. I will calculate this expression for line number 2 as well. I will calculate this expression for line number 3 as well. For which line I get the minimum value of this expression would be the best fit line. Do you agree with me or not, guys? Because on an average, I'm trying to minimize this distance by drawing a best fit line, guys, right? Because what is the purpose of drawing the best fit line? That it should minimize the error portion, right? It should minimize the error portion, right? And guys, remember, do you agree so far with me or not? एक बार बताएं प्लीज, यहाँ तक समझ में आया नहीं आया कि अगर डेटा पॉइंट्स सबके सब एक लाइन में नहीं है, all of the data points are not lying in a single line, in this way you have to find out a best fit line, and the best fit line can only happen, right, can only happen if we get a minimum value of this expression, right? Minimum value of this expression, guys. In machine learning, guys, please all remember, in machine learning, guys, this kind of expression is known as loss function. What you call this, guys? A loss function, right? So what is the responsibility of my best fit line? My best fit line's responsibility is to make the loss minimum, right? It should have the minimum loss. It cannot be zero, obviously, right? Because zero can only happen in this case. The loss can be zero only in this case, right? In other cases, loss can never be zero, but it can be close to zero, right? In reality, it can be close to zero, right? And now, guys, someone told me, sir, you gave the example of 3 lines only. But in this scenario, then there can be infinite number of lines, right? In this scenario, there can be infinite number of lines, right? Then how do I decide that which line is the best fit line, right? Because, okay, for 3 lines, I can make a comparison and quickly calculate that what the value of loss function, and for the line which gives me the minimum loss, I will select it. But what happens if I have infinite number of lines? There can be a possibility of infinite lines. And in that case, guys, it becomes a problem of optimization, a mathematical problem of optimization, that I should find out those values of M and C. Basically, finding a best fit line means finding the M and C, right? Finding the M and C, that what are the M and C for this best fit line? Infinite options. What is my point for which I get the minimum value of loss function? मुझे ऐसे M और C की तलाश है जिसकी वजह से क्या हो जाए, जिसकी वजह से मेरा लॉस फंक्शन मिनिमम हो जाए. आई एम लुकिंग फॉर दोज वैल्यूज ऑफ एम एंड सी फॉर विच द कॉस्ट फंक्शन और द लॉस फंक्शन will become minimized, right? Your loss function becomes, right? And guys, in every machine learning algorithm, there is a way which can do this act for us, right? Guys, I'm telling you that in every machine learning algorithm, there is a way which is called as gradient descent. Gradient descent, guys, gradient descent. In every machine learning algorithm, whether it's a simple linear regression, whether it's a decision tree, whether it's a random forest, whether it's a KNN, whether it's a SVM, whether it's a naive Bayes, whatever algorithm it is, right? Every algorithm will apply a gradient descent mechanism so that it can minimize the cost function. In our case, what is happening? In our case, our purpose is to minimize this cost function, right? Minimize this cost function. And what we are trying to do, we are trying to find out optimal value of M and C for which my cost function becomes minimum. And who will find out for me? The gradient descent will find out for me. थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन हिंदी में कर देता हूँ. हर एल्गोरिथम के पास अंदर एक तरीका होता है जिसको ऑप्टिमाइजर कहते हैं. उस ऑप्टिमाइजर का नाम है ग्रेडियंट डिसेंट. ग्रेडियंट डिसेंट एक तरह से ऑप्टिमाइजेशन टेक्निक होती है मैथमेटिक्स के अंदर. उससे हम ये पता कर लेते हैं कि कौन से पैरामीटर्स के लिए हमारा कॉस्ट फंक्शन या एक्सप्रेशन मिनिमम होगा. और यही चीज यहाँ पे हुई है. So guys, now let me know how was the story for you. That now are you clear about what the machine learning is, what the AI is, what the deep learning is, what the supervised ML is, what the unsupervised ML is, what the feature is, what the label is, what the prediction is, what the mapping function is, what the training is, what is the simple linear regression, how to draw the best fit line, how to find out the optimized value of M and C. That was the story, guys, right? सो ग्रेडियंट डिसेंट को मैं दोबारा कल फिर से समझा दूंगा. डोंट वरी, आज अगर समझ में नहीं आया है तो कोई बात नहीं है. डोंट हैव टू सो इंद्राजा और इशिका, don't worry about gradient descent if that is not clear yet, right? Guys, I will explain the gradient descent again tomorrow. Don't worry about that, right? So that is there. So no, Muhammad, that's not required. That's that's so. Guys, first of all, listen. First of all, listen, guys. I hope हमारी मूवी आज की हिट है और it will make a good collection today, guys, right? So what is good collection for us? The people opt for a certification process. That is our movie, right? So now a couple of things and then I will open the a doubt session, guys. एक काम करते हैं. Today we will not write the code. I will write the code tomorrow, guys. I will take the problem statement tomorrow, right? So that you get a time to digest the things, right? Because otherwise things will become so messy for you that तुम भूल जाओगे कि यार कर क्या रहे थे, right? So I think it's good that you should take some time, right? You should take some time to understand all these concepts, digest them, right, very well. And if things are not good again, maybe you can go and watch the video again, guys, right? Ashutosh, don't worry, I will talk about that tomorrow. Don't worry, right? That is there. And guys, there was an assignment for today, but you don't have to do the assignment now, because first I need to tell you that how you can solve a problem using Python code, right? But that should be so assignment is for tomorrow now, guys, right? Assignment is for tomorrow, right? Now one more thing, guys. Before I explain the difference between data science, someone was asking that what is the difference between data science and machine learning, guys. Hold on, I will explain that part as well, right? And today what we were doing, we were trying to understand the algorithm simple linear regression And in that simple linear regression, what we're trying to find out that how we draw a best fit line. And what was the best fit line? Best fit line was that line which was giving you, right? The minimum value of this expression, right? Minimum value of this expression. So here it was simple, very simple to draw this straight line. But when your data is distributed in a way that it is impossible to draw a straight line which passes through every point, right? In that case, what we were trying to do, we were trying to minimize this, error difference, right? On an average, right? On an average now. So we will go for a doubt session in 5 minutes, guys, right? And I need to make an announcement for you guys that now registrations for the certificate are open, guys. Those guys who are interested in getting the certificate only and no assessment report, because we told you that we will give you the assessment report of this program, your code reviews, your resume assessment, and the recommendations that how you can go and become a data scientist, right? If you're not interested in getting that feedback in that report, you can only apply for certificate by paying 350 rupees, guys, So 350 is the fees when you are only, interested, in, so 350 INR only for certificate and 500 INR if you want the assessment report as well, right? Assessment report as well. And guys, there is no assignment for today, right? No assignment for today. So a lot of people have already paid the amount. I think close to 40 to 43 people have already, registered for the certificate and assessment report. So that was the quick announcement to you guys. I have shared the link with you. And now, okay, Savik. So Savik is saying that I paid the amount yesterday. Yes, Savik, we got it. Thank you. So that is not there. That's, okay, Ishika, thank you for that, right? Yeah, so no, you just need to pay 350 Avril, right? It doesn't block you whether you are paying 500 or paying 350, you can pay any of the amount, right? Avril. Okay. So guys, listen. In a typical project, which is kind of an AI project, please all focus here on the screen now. Guys, what happens? First activity comes that you need to collect the data collection, right? That is data collection. Sylvester sir, can you please share a certificate image with them on the chat window?
That's already there on the drive, sir.
Okay, guys, the certificate format and design is already shared with you on the Google Drive, guys. And let me tell you where the certificate. I don't see it, guys, yet. Have you recently uploaded, Sylvester sir? Just a minute, guys.
Just a minute, sir.
Okay. So we are uploading that sample certificate on the drive, guys. So what I was telling you, just listen to that part first, guys. That, guys, we do the data collection, right? We do the data collection. And after the data collection, guys, the real data which you have collected is not always in a form that can be used to find out the mapping function. Guys, listen to me what I'm saying. Your real data that you collect or the client will share with you, right, is not in the form that can be directly used to find out the mapping function. And for that purpose, what you have to do, guys, you have to clean the data, right? You have to transform the data from one format to another, right? This activity is basically known as feature engineering, right? This activity is known as feature engineering, right? And this cleaning is sometimes known as ETL activity, extract, transform, and load, or data wrangling. And once this part is done, then you do, what is the feature, what is the label, then you train the model, right? And then you perform the prediction, right? Then you perform the prediction. After that, you do the visualization and all, right? This is the process, guys. This is the bundling of any, a machine, kind of an AI project. And guys, this portion from this part to this part, this is the role of ML engineer. This is ML, where ML engineer works, right? But data collection, cleaning the data, transforming it, doing the feature engineering, this is all done by, a data scientist. This is all done by a data scientist, right? This is data science, guys. Collecting the data, cleaning the data, transforming the data, doing the feature engineering, right? This is known as you know known as data science. So data science, now you can see ML is just one portion of data science. Guys, do you see, guys? ML is just one portion of the data science, right? And a guy who is equally good into data science activities, handling the data, and equally good into ML, basically that is known as a full stack data scientist. उसको बोलते हैं full stack data, who can do the visualization as well, right? So who can manage the entire project end to end, starting from this point, and then closing this all. This is known as full stack data scientists, right? Full stack data scientists. And you should be surprised to know, guys, that full ML means machine learning, right? So this is that is there. And guys, you would be surprised to know that data scientist was a term given by an Indian, right? And the name of that Indian is Dr. D.Z. Patil. Dr. D.Z. Patil. Dr. D.Z. Patil was the first chief data scientist in USA. He was the first chief data scientist in USA with US government. President Obama appointed him as the first chief data scientist in the United States. And he coined the term. And he said that data scientist would be the sexiest job of 21st century. I don't know whether he's right or wrong, but he said it. That's my statement. So that's there, guys. So I hope आज की कहानी काफ़ी आप लोगों को क्लियर हुई होगी. Story should be clear now, right? And it should be interesting as well, right? Yeah, Ishwar, thank you for that. So Akshay saying, sir, can you tell what are the things or knowledge required in data science or to become a data scientist via flowchart so that I can easily understand? So I think it's a good idea. Akshay, your question is good. So listen, Akshay, that if you want to become a data scientist, guys, what you should be good at, right? If you want to be a data scientist, right? Data scientist. So you should be good at, let's say, first of all, you should be good at SQL. Guys, do you remember what the SQL is? A structured query language, right? SQL is there. You should know SQL, right? You should know a database, handling as well, right? That comes in the SQL only. You should know any programming language, right? Python or R or something like that. So I would recommend Python only. You should be good at using pandas. You should be good at using NumPy. You should be good at a matplotlib, right? Kind of that. Along with this, Akshay, you should also understand a couple of things. For example, that how you will let's say a couple of big data handling tools like Hadoop, right? Or Spark, or kind of Databricks, right? kind of those things, right? और एक और चीज जो आनी चाहिए क्लाउड, थोड़ा क्लाउड का भी आपको नॉलेज होना चाहिए. So और क्लाउड नहीं आता है तो maybe there is a library called Flask, you know, so you should be using the Flask at least. So these are the, you know, a minimum requirements, right? Minimum requirements, guys. You know, Akshay. So that is there. Patrick Jane saying, sir, what is the algorithm? What is the algorithm to identify which algorithm we're going to use? Actually, Patrick, there is no you know, a direct method. There are certain parameters. We need to calculate those parameters by using you know, each algorithm, and based on those parameters values, we take a decision that which algorithm is working best for you. So beforehand, you don't know that which algo will give you the best results. You have to use, you know, kind of it becomes kind of a hit and trial. And now based on the results, you take a decision that which algo is going to work for you, right? You know, Ishika, right? Finding out the feature and label, doing the training and performing the prediction. That part comes in the ML project, right? That part comes in the project. Srinivas saying, so will you explain more about supervised and unsupervised data? I will explain, Srinivas, but you have to just understand one concept as of now, that if your data set has both X and Y, that means independent variable or dependent variable. If it has both, right? This is called as feature and this is called as label. So if your data set has both feature and label, then it becomes supervised, you know, a data set, supervised data set, right? And if your data only has feature, if your data has only feature and there is no label, then it becomes unsupervised. Then it becomes unsupervised. So in unsupervised, guys, there is no label, only feature is there. I will explain more around that day after tomorrow, right? That would be there. BigQuery is also a kind of a tool, Jagdish, that is used to handle, you know, large data volumes. Jagdish, it's from Google actually, right? Karan, I'll check with my team and let you know. Karan. Sri Hari is saying, sir, what about Excel for data science? Excel is a very basic tool, Sri Hari, right? So for a data scientist, it's good that you have a knowledge, basic knowledge around Excel. But generally, you know, that will not be the enough. You need to learn these things, what I mentioned, right? They are more important than learning the Excel, right? Because just working on the Excel and, you know, being very good at Excel will make you a non-technical kind of a guy, Srihari, right? Will make you non-technical, and then your growth will hamper later on. You will not be able to, you know, have a good career growth if you only work on the Excel. If you are good at Excel along with these skills, then it's good, perfect, no issues. But only being good at Excel and not learning these skills, I think it would be not a very good idea, right? Charisma, the basic knowledge of statistics. Guys, machine learning, listen guys, you know, there are two flavors of machine learning world. One in which you want to do a research, right? If you want to go into a very research domain, you want to publish the papers, right? In that case, you should have a strong knowledge of mathematics. But if you want to do a job in IT domain, want to work for real client problems, right? Want to solve their real problems, in that case, basic knowledge of math is enough. Your more focus would be using on the tools, understanding the problem, finding out the right solution. In that case, you know, a deep mathematics is not required. Deep mathematics is not required. And I know 90% of people will go into the IT job, right? Only 5%, 10% people go to the research domain. So that call you have to take. If you want to be in the research domain, you have to be strong in maths, otherwise not required. Karishma. Pratik Mane is saying, sir, how can we use ML in websites? So maybe Pratik, you can, one use can be like this, that you have a website like this, Pratik, right? And now let's say you leave a space and there you say upload image, right? So someone uploads the image and that image comes here, right? And in that image, let's say some number is there. So now machine learning should able to automatically detect that the one is written there, right? One is written there. So it's a use of ML, but still you are using this through a browser, right? So web is also there. So web and ML both are clubbed. Mohammed, it's not like that. Sometimes linear regression works very good in some of the problem cases. So it depends on the problem statement, right? Suraj is saying, sir, please tell me the minimum knowledge we should know for campus placements in field of data science. First of all, Suraj, if you are from a college which is not IIT, which is not IISc Bangalore, or which is not IIM, right? Then it is a little difficult that a company will come for a campus placement and offer you a job as a data scientist. A startup may be there, but not a well-established name. So what you need to guys do, if you want to do a data science job, you will have to explore the opportunities beyond the campus placement as well. Because in the campus placement, who will come? A train will come from Infosys, a train will come from TCS, a train will come from Wipro, or some, these companies. And I doubt they will hardly offer you a data scientist job. Yes, if you appear for an Infosys Infi TQ exam, right? And that coding competition, if you remember, guys, from Infosys, right? Or CodeVita from TCS. In that case, you can get a data scientist job. So Suraj, I would suggest that you should be good at Python programming, make good one or two projects, and also make sure that your problem solving skills or coding skills are good. I think that should be decent to appear for a campus placement and secure a job into that domain, right? Jobair, I think more than that, the projects you do, right? They are more important. They are more important, right? So there is, I think there is no use of paying 1 lakh or 2 lakh for a certification from blah 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 for a university. I think better that you have a basic certificate from anywhere, so that your resume gets stronger. But after that, your project work has to speak about you, right? Prachi Desai, I will explain the deep learning later on, not today, right? Aviral, Spark is the a better version of Hadoop. That's it. Earlier there were some problems with the Hadoop, and they resolved those problems, and Spark came. That was there, right? Pramod Panigrahin saying, sir, what are the step-by-step procedure to become an entry-level data scientist? Guys, no company, no serious company will offer you a data scientist job. As an entry-level engineer, you always get a data analyst. You become a data analyst first, and after a couple of years of experience, you come to a role of data scientist. Guys, right? So as a fresher, go for a position which is talking about data analyst, right? Yesterday we were talking about data analysis, right? So that is there. You take an entry like this and then you become this. That would be there, right? So Bhashwita Madula saying, sir, what is the difference work done by data scientist and a data analyst? So data analyst, basically maybe data analyst is the sub portion of data scientist, Rashvita, right? Data scientist or data science is an umbrella term. So whatever you do around data is data science, right? But data analyst is specific, that figuring out the insight from the data, and then doing the analysis. That does not involve prediction. Data analyst is just knowing the patterns from the past data, right? But ML talks about the future, that if this is new value, if this is the new input, then what would be the new y, right? So that talks about something future, right? Abhilasha Chatterjee saying, sir, how we create a CSV file. Abhilasha, that's very simple. What you can do, you can you know do one thing. You go to any editor, right, and open a new file, and from there you can create your, let's say you say professor, department is CSE, right? Salary is this, 45,000, let's say. So these comma separated values are there. Please do not leave any space in between. And now save this file with extension .csv, right? Save as with the extension .csv. That name can be given to it, right? So you can give any name. So demo.csv. So then it will become a CSV file. You can do other entries in the next line, right? So there is another guy who is, associate professor, right? And then, he's from IT department, or, like that. Rishabh Khuba is saying, sir, after the bootcamp, how to become more proficient in AML and DL? Project. Rishabh, right? Ye to start hai. This is just the start, right? You will have to devote more time, more energy, find out a mentor, find out a coding school which can help you and guide you in the longer journey, right? That is there. Ishika, I don't know about the blue brain. Maybe better you can do a Google around that. I'm not sure about what blue brain you are talking about, right? So Devendra saying, sir, what is the algorithm where user asks, how are you? Okay. So it's a kind of a text problem that, someone is there who is saying a voice, right? How are you? So there is a voice, right? Voice hai yahan pe. So there is a voice, and then this voice is getting converted into some text data, that is speech to text, right? Speech to text conversion is there, right? And for that, there are a lot of libraries that can do that, and then this text goes to some database, and we'll find out the response to this text. So we get the response out from the database, right? And now this text again gets converted from, now we need to apply text to speech, and then we get the response. So this is how, let's say, Alexa works. So this is how Google. So that's a very basic flow I have told, but this is the cycle, and there it uses machine learning and AI and everything. That is there. Devendra, did I answer your question? Please raise your hand if you got it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Ashutosh, you can do that. You can use Firebase instead of SQL. So, SQL or SQLite 3. So SQL is a query language, right? And SQLite or MySQL or Oracle or Cassandra or Redis, or, all of these are databases. Guru Prasad Singh, sir, will there be any extension in the class? No, Guru, no extension in the class. We are closing the session by Saturday, right? Rahul Jandu saying, sir, steps for data science and algorithmic trading. a lot of people are doing algorithmic trading, and recently algorithmic trading has taken a good pace. Rahul, I think you are from SKIT, right? Just search on the Google that how algorithmic trading is working. I know a couple of my friends, they have been writing Python code, and they are trying to automate that selling and buying stuff uh, in Bombay Stock Exchange, or something like that. So that is taking a good train now. A lot of people are working on algorithmic. So this is just finding out the patterns, right? And based on the pattern, finding out, taking a decision whether you need to buy or whether you need to sell. That is there. So it's a automation, Rahul. So you can do it Python, using a Python script and all, right? Jagdish, there are hell lot of tools. Every company comes up with their own set of tools, right? So you should have the basic flow understanding, right? It doesn't matter that you are good in Python, or you are good in Java, or you are good in C++. The importance is that you understand that how to solve a problem using any programming language. So tool does not become that much big in that case. If you're good into Spark and don't know BigQuery, that's okay, right? No, the people will understand that you have the experience, but on a different tool, that will not block your selection. So Shubham Kumar Singh, so yesterday you said some of the client would be joining us. So Shubham, I said that we have hired some of the interns, and they are joining the client team. So they have already joined today, right? Total 7 were selected, 6 have joined today, and 1 will join tomorrow. Shubham. And that client is a Japanese company who is working on, right? Who is working on AI system, right? So that is there. Okay. So Malta, Malta, you can go to the Google Drive, and there is an image, calendar, August 2020 calendar, right? If you click on this, you will get to know all the courses that are coming up in the future, right? That is there. And see, guys, we have uploaded the certificate as well. This is a sample. As of now, the sample says certificate of participation, but it would be a certification of completion, guys. It would be a certificate of completion. There. That's the design, guys. Right? YTS ATZ. I think if you start from a scratch, uh, around 8 months to 12 months kind of time can be very well taken, right? Shavik saying, sir, do we have any standard loss function? No, Shavik, from algorithm to algorithm, the loss function keeps on changing. The loss function that I told you was specific to linear regression. For other algorithms, loss function would be different. Shavik, did you get it? Please raise hand if you got it. Okay, right. So from algorithm to algorithm, cost function or loss functions are different. Prachi, what was your question? I think I missed that. कुछ questions है तुम्हारा पीछे रह गया या तो just a minute, let me check if I missed something. Okay, so what is deep learning and how does it contrast with other machine learning algorithms? Prachi, I will explain this in more details on the last day when we are on a deep learning topic. But as of now, you can understand we apply deep learning when you have a large data set. So it's an image data or a video data, or a large text data. Then you go for deep learning. Deep learning is the specific part of ML only. प्राची, राइट? ये ML से अलग नहीं है, उसी का छोटा हिस्सा है. It's a subsection of MLON. Prachi, did you get it? Please raise hand if you got it. Okay, got it. Mohammed Fajan, Belgaon wala. Okay, good name. Sir, what to learn after Python for best result in data science? So after Python, focus on pandas, focus on NumPy, focus on Matplotlib, focus on scikit-learn, focus on SQL, right? A lot of things are there, Mohammed, right? Pallavi Burase saying, sir, awesome session. Thank you, sir. First team concepts clear. Suraj saying, sir, learning Tableau will help in campus placement in college or not? Learning Tableau will not help you, Suraj, but using Tableau, if you make a project, that creates very good visualizations, right? Learning Tableau, and after learning that, don't stop. Work on a project and create very good visualizations out of that. Then you will have a very good chance in the campus placement. Suraj, right? Aviral Oja, as of now, Suraj, is that clear? Please raise hand if you got it, because I can't go to the last, otherwise I will miss other questions. Okay, thank you for that. Aviral Oja saying, sir, do you have some courses on SQL and big data analytics like Hadoop? As of now, there is no question, no course. Aviral, we are working on that. I think in September we should have something like that. Jubair, I think answered your question, like how to become a data scientist. Like, do we? So certification is from a foreign university is not the key to get a job. I think key to get a job is that you should have a basic certification, and then work on the projects. That is more important, Jubair. Right? So, which language is easy for data science? Python is the best. SVM stands for support vector machine, Karan, right? Uh, Google Drive link, will share the Google Drive link soon, right? Rahul Jandu saying, sir, steps for data science in finance. So I think there is a lot of use of data science or machine learning in the finance domain. So you can talk about every big investment banking company, Rahul, right? Goldman Sachs, or all these big houses. They all are utilizing data science to a great extent. They have a full-fledged team there, right? So what is important that Rahul, Jandu, one thing is that you know all the programming, so you know all the tools and everything, right? And you have done a couple of projects as well. But what is more important if you want to go into the finance domain, that you also understand the finance story. If you understand the finance well, right, that how things are working in the finance domain, how things are working in the insurance domain, if you know that process as well, then it becomes a deadly combination, and then you are most welcome in any organization who is working in the finance domain, right? So knowing the tools, but along with the tool you need to understand the domain knowledge as well, because I have never worked in the finance domain, so I have no knowledge, right? I have never worked in the insurance domain, so I have no knowledge. But there are a lot of people who have worked in the insurance domain, right? They know how end-to-end insurance is working, right? How agents work, how companies work, how they make plan, right? How they calculate the profit, how they distribute it, everything, right? So a person who has a deep experience into that domain, right? And that's why I told you that as a junior, you will work as a data analyst. And for that, you don't need the domain knowledge, right? But you become data scientist only if you have a domain knowledge, and that comes through experience. You work there in some company as a data analyst, or as a a BI engineer, business intelligence, and then only you become a data scientist. Rahul, are you getting it? Did I answer your question? Okay, cool. So yeah, Ashutosh, we can do that, right? Devendra, you are right. You can work, you can make a AI like Google Assistants with Python. Yes, you can do that, right? थोड़ा time लगेगा, but होगा, पक्का होगा, right? Yes, Abdul Razak, these algorithms are pre-available for users. We'll understand it tomorrow. Don't worry, right? Uh, 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 Rutuja saying, sir, I'm a fresher, then which project I would select? So what you do, Rutuja, we are pretty soon announcing a project season, right? That will start from next Monday, I think, right? In that project season, what we do, we take a problem statement from the client, and we work on developing that project. And if something is required in terms of teaching or telling you the the concept that how you can use some a library, how you can use some how to solve this problem, we help you, we teach you in that. And after doing that basic teaching, you are given a project, you work on that project. And once you give a project, we give you a letter of internship as well, right? Generally, that project takes 15 days to 20 days, right? And after the completion, we help you that how you can publish a blog on Medium, or how you can have a GitHub profile and all. So it's an end-to-end project work, Rituja, right? And after that, you can use that project title in your resume, and it would be a very good learning. You understand how the project management happens, you understand how the real projects are worked, right? How the industry is working. So you get a very good experience out of that a project season. So you can take part in that project season. And we are doing a free webinar tomorrow. Maybe you can join that tomorrow 9 p.m. In the night we have a 1 hour free webinar that we explain how the project season will take place, how you can participate, what you will get, how you will get a letter of internship, right? How you will work on a project in a team or solo, that would be there. So this is there. Mohammad Fajan Belgaon wala saying, I'm from electronics and telecommunication engineering domain, and I'm not able to decide which whether to opt to web development or data science. In both field, I'm interested, and which will be the best for my bright. So for your bright future, Fajan, right? You need to know both actually, right? Because web development is everywhere, right? Either a service offered through a web, or either it is offered through a mobile app. So you need to have a service through some user interface, right? You need to create a UI for that. So for that you need to have a web development or web skills. And behind that, maybe you're using AI, maybe you're using data science to give the response, or to serve the people. So it would be a deadly combination if you have a good hand on both of these things. So वेब डेवलपमेंट तो बेसिक चीज मानो, वो एक बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट हो गई है हर जगह, राइट? वो तो एक HTML CSS JS तो आना ही चाहिए फैजान, राइट? और फिर डेटा साइंस तो एक चेरी ऑन द टॉप काइंड ऑफ थिंग है. तो दोनों कॉम्बिनेशंस इफ यू हैव, इट वुड बी वेरी वेरी गुड फॉर योर ब्राइट फ्यूचर. हाँ, EC से तो मूव कर जाओ, बेटर है, right? Move from the EC. So that's there, right? Sanjay Nikam is Rishabh is saying, sir, if we want to go to a research project, then can you share any course or books to learn statistics and more? So I think you can do one thing. You can go to YouTube, Rishabh, right? You can go to YouTube, and there you can search for a channel called StatQuest, right, on YouTube. You will have a very good learning around the statistics there, right? Rishabh. Sanjay Nikam saying, sir, other branch students feasible for AML? Why not? As long as you can do a good problem solving, you are willing to learn new things, Sanjay, right? Why not? You should try into that. धीरे धीरे बढ़ो उसमें, राइट? थोड़ा थोड़ा कदम बढ़ाओ, पहले एक प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज सीखो, फिर थोड़ा आगे सीखो, फिर थोड़ा, सो स्टेप बाय स्टेप चलिए, and then you will have to this, right? Amay Chaudhary saying, sir, which one is better, TensorFlow or TensorFlow JS? Both are good. It depends, right? Are you using JavaScript or other programming language? So that is there, Amay. Ashutosh, we will create a new a basic project tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So because today I gave you the basic understanding about ML and all, right? So now we'll have a lot of hands-on. Don't worry about that. Big data, any data, maybe a large volume data. उसी को हम big data कहते हैं इसी का, right? So big data means the data which cannot be processed on your local machine. The data is is so large in volume that it cannot be processed on a single local machine. Then you use cloud, or you use multiple machines, or you do a distributed computing. That so large data, handling a large data set is very normal. It's very normal. Mohammed Faizan will talk about that later on, maybe last day, right? YTS ETZ मैंने बोला था 8 से 12 महीने मान लीजिए, right? And Ashish, right? Ashish saying, sir, what about TK-Inter? TK-Inter is a library which is used for creating the user interface in Python, but that's not very much used nowadays, Ashish. Abhisha, now people are using Dash or Plotly kind of interfaces. TK-Inter is not in that much fashion. But if you want to build a desktop application, not a web application, if you want to build a desktop application, TK-Inter is required. Ranjit, if you are only BCA, I think it's good that you go for MCA, and along with the MCA, you work on some projects as well, right? Because if you don't do this now, later on you will, may get a regret, because having only a BCA degree may not keep you in the good race of, career advancement. Ranjit, right? Saurav will talk about that later on. Sanjay Nikam, data analytics or BI में बहुत सारा, as a fresher you will get a job into data analytics only or BI only, right? So a lot of people are asking about the projects. I will discuss that tomorrow. Don't worry, guys. Yeah. Shubham, Shubham is saying, sir, I have done machine learning. I think, Shubham, we need to look at resume first. By just saying that you have done machine learning doesn't indicate that you are good at it. We just need to look at resumes first, right? What kind of projects you have built, right? What is the clarity of the concepts, right? That is more important. Guys, I think now we'll try to take other questions later on, right? Anurag Sinha saying, sir, I'm a PhD first year, suggest some research paper in big data and ML. Anurag, I'm little, handicapped in this because we guys are mostly from the industry experience, so we'll not be able to give you much help in terms of research paper and that, because we are more focused on problem solving and you are more focused on how you can publish a paper, right? So there is a difference in terms of targets. So come help milegi hamari side se, Anurag. Right. Yeah, Ratesh Pillai, there are a lot of freelancing opportunities for data analysts and data scientists, right? Lot of. Ashutosh Panda saying, sir, how we are eligible to do internship at Forsk? I think better to do a longer course with Forsk and then so that you become eligible for job assistance, Ashutosh, right? Short courses, we do not provide job assistance in that case, right? I think any other question? A Wiki MBA degree, because now almost every MBA course include a data analytics subject as well. Every MBA degree includes a data analytics job. So if you're doing an MBA from a good institute, good college, uh, you have good chance that you become you can join data science domain as well. You can very well join that, right? So कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में मैं कल बात करूंगा, right? Rohit saying, sir, what are the languages what we require while placement? What does company requires most? What are the basic languages in each field? Rohit, मेरे हिसाब से language कोई भी हो. If you're good at C programming, be very good at C. If you are good at Python, be very good at Python. If you're good at C++, be very good at C++, right? So language should not be a problem. Be good at data structures, right? Be good at database fundamentals, and I think you are done as a fresher, right? If you are going for MC and NIT, I think it's a good option, Ranjit. You can go for that. And there you work on the projects, right? Ranjit. राहुल, अभी इतनी ज़रूरत नहीं है जूलिया की. अभी जूलिया रॉबर्ट्स को सिर्फ सीरीन पे देखो. जूलिया लैंग्वेज की बात साल 1.5 साल के बाद कर सकते हैं. इट्स अ फंक्शनल प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज. इट्स गुड इफ यू आर लर्निंग, but I think not big takers in the industry yet. Entire industry is as of now on the Python, entire almost close to 80%, right? Every new initiative is on Python or in the related domain. Rahul. So Rishabh Kubai Singh, sir, what will you share the project season? Sir, Sylvester, sir, can you please share?
I've already shared the link for
Okay.
registration.
So Rishabh, we have shared the a free webinar link. I think it is a registration link for free webinar. So you can join that tomorrow at 9 p.m. Right?
They need to register first, sir. Then we'll get the links.
R is also used as in data science domain, but I think as of now Python is more popular than R. Right? More popular than R. Yes. So guys, that was for today. I have missed a couple of questions because कुछ repetitive होते हैं. कुछ को मैं आने वाले time में लूँगा. I will take a couple of questions later on. I will not skip them. I just skip them today for today, not for so I will take them and guys, again a reminder, please go and register yourself for the certificate, right? Yeah, Ishika, Kotlin is now better than Java. Kotlin is now better than Java, right? Because it's a new features. Industry is also adopting Kotlin. But if you know the Java, moving to Kotlin is not a big deal. If you already know the Java, right? Because that's just a kind of extension to it. So guys, I hope मजा आज आया होगा आप लोगों को. You must be enjoying the sessions, right? We are trying to give you, obviously सब चीज़ें नहीं बताई जा सकती हैं, वो possible भी नहीं है, right? But we're just trying to maximize the learning so that at least you get a better reward of your time and energy. And in the end, I would request guys that please go on to the Google review link that I'm sharing now, and please write a review for us, or whatever you're feeling or whatever your understanding is, right? So along with the star rating, please write something so that it becomes justifiable why you give 5 star, 4 star, or whatever, right? जो भी आपको अच्छा कहाँ लगा कहाँ नहीं लगा, please do that. So guys, see you tomorrow. We'll meet again at same time. We'll see, right? So bye bye guys. Thank you.